Hi, I'm Terry Farr, Executive Director for the Greater Picayune Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to Chamber Conversations. Today I'm meeting with Steve Rodgers. How you doing, Steve?
Doing good, Terry. How are you this morning?
Good. Your morning started probably pretty early this morning.
Very early, always.
Yeah. Steve is the regional manager. This is a new position. You can tell us about that for the southern region, if I get this right, for C-Spire.
That's correct.
Of course, C-Spire locally here and in other places too, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But C-Spire is a member of the Chamber of Commerce and also a sponsor, so we appreciate that, and appreciate you coming out today and taking a few minutes so that we can learn a little bit more about yourself. And so thanks for everything that y'all do for the Chamber and the community. So tell us who Steve Rodgers is.
Who Steve Rodgers is? What's
You don't have to tell us everything about it. Tell us
I have to leave out the best parts. Well, I was born in Arkansas, in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. We moved down here when I was 3, so I'm pretty much a native down here. I really didn't know much of Arkansas until I went back up there later in life, and learned a little more about it. But moving down here, my parents, they have, first and foremost, I'm a Christian. We attend Pine Grove Baptist Church out in the Pine Grove community. We've been there several years. Then, I have my wife, Amanda. She's,
right.
We've been married almost 14 years this year. I've got 2 precious daughters. They're 11 and 7. And then my parents here in town are Stephen and McDonald. They have McDonald Funeral Home. My wife's family has Picayune door sales, also,
right.
Both chamber members. And McDonald Funeral Home's been in business since 1917, Picayune door sales 1975, so they've been around for a long time. I attended Pearl River Central growing up, 1st grade through 12th, and my wife Amanda attended Picayune 1st through 12th, so
y'all were rivals, huh?
We're rivals, yeah. we're big football fans on every level. So the great thing is we attend all the Picayune games, always have. So whenever Picayune plays PRC, I always have a little bit of blue on, still in my blood. So
right.
That's always a little bit of an issue there. But I attended Pearl River Community College, got my associates in business management. I also was in the Army Reserves, Army National Guard for several years.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, and then worked for the funeral home for my parents for about 4 years, in the funeral business, which really got me entered into working with people. I realized my love of working with people at that time, when I worked with them. Really.
And that's where I first met you.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the first time to meet you there.
Right. And so, again, I learned a lot there. That was where I really began in my love for just working with the public and everything. So and from then on, from there, I started with C-Spire, which I think we'll probably get into a little more.
Sure.
But that's kind of the basics of me.
So how did you, if you think about it, going from funeral home to, wireless, cell phones and all that kind of stuff, how did you get hooked up with C-Spire?
Well, I always loved technology. Technology was always big to me. I loved working on things, tinkering with things. My grandparents were another part. My grandparents were a big part of my upbringing. My grandfather was Gene Bolden. A lot of people might have knew him. He worked for Crosby Hospital back in the 80s and the 90s. And he taught me a lot when I was a kid, about how to work on things and just tinker with things. And it really got me into technology, I think, just from my upbringing with him. And so whenever I left the funeral home to pursue new interests, I came across C-Spire. Miss Claire Manley at the time was at the store. A lot of people knew her locally, I'm sorry. And she got me the job with Cellular South at the time as a service technician, working on phones, doing car installs, that sort of thing is what I started out as. I loved it. Great company, so that's how I got started over doing that. And I actually worked on phones in the beginning there.
So you were initially over there on Memorial Boulevard then, I guess, or?
When I started, they had just moved from there out to the Paul's Pastry location. And the week I began when we moved into that Paul's Pastry location over there.
So y'all had 3 locations, I guess, huh?
Going way back, they actually started in Walmart. Had a
really?
Walmart kiosk way back in the 90s.
I moved here in 98, so that's before my time, I guess. But,
right.
So have there been a lot of changes? How many positions have you had?
Several positions. I started out, of course, as I mentioned, as service technician.
Right.
That position kind of started going away not too long after I got with the company because they, I did car kit installs for for hands-free calling while you're driving and things, which laws came along later that made that a bigger deal. So vehicles at the time when I first started didn't come with that as an option. They began to start having that as a built-in option later. So that kind of made that position obsolete. And as far as working on phones, different insurances and options came out as far as they kind of made that unnecessary also, where you could get easier replacements through insurance options. So at that point, I was offered a sales position. I'd never been in sales, but I loved the company. I loved what they stood for, what they were doing. And so I gave it a shot and I ended up loving it. I love sales. I was in a sales position from 2007 until about 2009, at which time I promoted into management here at the Picayune location. And, loved that even more. I loved working with people, helping others, proceed in their careers, being a mentor for the sales reps that were coming up. And of course, number one, helping my customers. That's one of the biggest things. It gave me a bigger role in being able to help customers. So I really enjoyed the manager role. And of course, I was in it from 09 until 2015. I did an interim role as regional for about 6 months. And, that gave me a new venture into even a totally different ball game. Once again, still working with people and helping people, with my customers, but more employee oriented. And went back to managing and at the end of 15, and then just recently went into my permanent role as regional manager here just a few weeks ago.
So tell me a little bit more about what you're doing now.
Well, right now I cover the southern region, which you mentioned, which is all the southern part of our footprint. I cover all the way up to Hattiesburg, Waynesboro, Laurel, everything in between, Wiggins, Lucedale, of course Picayune, all across the coast over to Pascagoula and even into Mobile, Alabama. So we have about 152 employees or so, and I just basically work with them, help mentor some of the newer managers coming up that were in the position that I was in back in 09, and just using experience and trying to help them out and help them be the best that they can be, as far as helping our customers and growing with the company.
Yeah. So. Well, not flattering you, I guess maybe, but you do have great people skills, so you didn't have to be a good salesperson to sell anything. Because you had a good product, but you were good with people, and so I'm sure that the people that are working with you are glad that you've got this position, and because you can help them, and which ends up helping the customer, So,
yep.
Glad you got the new position. Proud of you.
Well, thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. Yeah, people skills, it's something that, kind of, I believe is a part of someone's nature. You kind of learn it over time, too, and you just have that general desire to help people, and it just kind of grows from there. So,
yeah. So do we need to talk about towers or anything? Or, you tell me what we need to talk about.
Well, the company in general, just the direction that they've went. We're the largest privately owned wireless carrier. And so the name changed back in 2011 from Cellular South to C Spire, mostly because of the new ventures that we're looking into, as far as fiber. It's being quickly laid all across our footprint, for fiber to the home, fiber to business, which is also going to power TV services, home services and things like that. Also offering cloud services for business, for backups and things like that. We have a really enormous data center up in Starkville, and that's it's a lot of the new ventures the company's headed in. The company has a lot of vision and a lot of motivation. That's one of the things I've always loved about them. And anything they cross, they tackle and just move forward with 100%. So that was one of the biggest things with the name change. There's a little, some people were kind of confused when it happened back in 2011, but that was the meaning of it and the direction of it, and where we're kind of headed from here. So actually, it's had a lot of fiber laid in Picayune, so we're looking to get that going here pretty quickly as far as fiber to business and some things like that.
So you see then for Pearl River County a lot of growth because of maybe the wireless and the fiber. Do you think that's going to be able to help some of the local businesses?
It is. Fiber is the wave of the future as far as internet goes. And just the quality of it, the speed. All of that's going to be way better than a lot of things that are offered nowadays. So once that's laid into place, it's really going to help the businesses do what they need to do. And we try to be as cost effective as possible with that, and then combining it with wireless and things. the retail stores have actually taken on all of business wireless now.
Right.
So what used to be an outside business sales rep's responsibility now falls on the retail stores. So I actually like that because we've always taken care of our businesses here and done the best we can. So now that's our sole responsibility, and I like that. So,
Right.
I've reached out to most of our local businesses that we've had service with or have had here, and let them know that. So we're really looking forward to that relationship and building it even further.
Okay, good. So what else have I not asked you that we need to cover? I mean, websites, Facebook pages, y'all connected with all of that?
We're very active on social media. There's the C-Spire Facebook page. There's also a C-Spire Picayune Facebook page. All of our local stores have their own Facebook pages, and often we'll use those for promotions and events and things like that. So it's good to follow that if you're interested in any of those things. We might even have discounts on accessories and things of that nature, that fall on those local Facebook pages. Our website, of course, is always growing and changing. It's www.cspire.com. You can learn about fiber, all of our new wireless offerings, anything like that is always on our Facebook page. There's a lot of information there as well.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you dropping by today at the Chamber of Commerce, and appreciate you as always and everything that you've done. So I appreciate y'all watching this, and be proud if y'all would like it, share it with your friends, pass it around. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, be sure to do that, and we'll be talking to you soon. Make it a great day.